What's good, y'all? We back outside on that NBA 2K23. Now listen, if you're new, I appreciate that view, I truly do, but you know you gotta like and sub, my boy. Hit them notice for me too as well so you can know when we post. This is only episode 4 of the Tailor. All my OG subs, comment down below, let me know you see me, like and support the video. Salute. Now in this series, we take a look at some of the greatest builds in NBA 2K history. That could be as early as 2K22 and as far back as 2K15. Behind every great archetype is an even greater content creator, catching bodies, taking ankles, and shooting threes from half court to become legendary. Now in this video, we're gonna take a look at Staxmontana and Killa Cam Baker. This build been getting busy since 2K14 all the way up until now. Today, we're gonna look at the 2K16 version. Let's get right. Shout out Staxmontana. Today we're gonna be making Killa Cam Baker from 2K16. Now what's interesting about this build is this is the first build in this series where the content creator made this build with my career in mind. As you know, Stax has a long run in my career series that dates all the way back to 2K14. He would later go on to take this build into the park and go crazy with it, but he would then switch to a 6'3" outside guard. Now we're not gonna showcase that guard in today's video. I will be doing a 6'7" outside guard for 2K16 on a later video, so if you're not subscribed, hit that sub button right now and hit the notice so you can make sure you see that video when it drops. But we gonna take a look at his small forward. Now his small forward build in 2K16, it had 3 different archetypes basically: inside, outside, and balance. He decided to go with a balanced small forward, and we gonna replicate that build in 2K23. So you make a small forward, right hand, jersey number is 11. He always went with 11 because his pops played ball in high school. That was his jersey number, so we gonna do the same thing. 6'9" was the height. He went with 235 on the weight, but we gotta drop that down for 2K23 to make it a viable option still, you know, just bringing them Tailor tweaks in. And then the longest wingspan as well, we are gonna go with and match that. Now body shape is gonna be defined too, so you can do whatever body shape you want. We're gonna go with defined. Now this is the part of the video where I always tell y'all can just simply pause the video, capture the attributes you see here on screen, and what you get is that 2K16 vibe of that balanced small forward build. And you got Killa Cam Baker for yourself. For my career, you could take him into the park. Now if you want to actually stick around to see how I took those attributes from 2K16 and translated them over to a 2K23 build, let's get right. Now what I want to say before we get started is bro, I pretty much have every 2K, so not only do I go look at the content creators content, but I also load up the game and then go make that build myself so I can know what every attribute is so that I can be accurate for y'all when I'm making these builds. So the first thing is close shot. The close shot was exactly an 80, so we was able to keep it at 80. Driving layup, and you'll see this as a central thing. Back in 2K16, if you add boost onto your build, it would actually reflect on your build's attributes as opposed to how it is now, where it just kind of works in the background under the hood, right? So he had a 76 driving layup. With the boost, it was an 81. I felt like an 80 made sense. Now driving dunk was an 81. With the boost, 86. So that's exactly spot on. When you look at standing dunk, it was an 85, and when you watch him in the park, he did a lot of standing dunks. When you watch him in my career, not so much. So we needed to like kind of compromise, because really truthfully with the 6'9" too, you can't get contact dunks, standing dunks anyway, unless you 6'10". So I dropped it down below that 85 to a 75. You'll still get a ton of standing dunks with a 75. That's more than enough. He had some post scoring on the build, but you never saw him utilize that, rarely ever. He'd only go into a post to avoid like double team, stuff like that, but he really wasn't working from the post like that. So no sense in wasting attribute points. We need to balance this build out. Mid range was a 80, so I went with an 81 so we can get that Hall of Fame midi magician. 3-pointer was a 75. With the boost on, it was an 80, so that was spot on. If you want to go +1 to get the goal, catch and shoot, you can do that though. Free throw was a 90. No sense in wasting attribute points there, so we went with a 70. Pass accuracy too was a 90. That's just way too high because that's gonna be too taxing on our build. So I didn't go with a 75 though. If y'all noticed, I went with an 80, so that way he can still get that gold dimer. One thing he did very well in the park was he was a willing and a good passer, high IQ passer with good vision. So I went with an 80 instead of a 75. Now, ball handling is where I completely deviated. I usually do that like 1 or 2 attributes out of the entire build. And the reason why I did that is like 2K14, 15, especially 15 and 16, you could have taller builds with lower ball handling that could get some fire SIGs, bro. As we know in 2K23, after all these 2Ks, they try to nerf that with lower ball handling and you don't get access to as many SIGs. So I don't think that would have been a fair representation of how well Stax actually can handle the ball. So I decided to like update it, just give him an 85. If you want to be more true to the 2K16 build, you probably could just go with an 80 and limit it a little bit, but I went with the 85 so I could get the silver handles for days. 75 for the Michael Jordan. Interior and perimeter, obviously, bro, those are things that didn't exist in 2K16, so I had to figure those numbers out basically. Perimeter defense is equivalent to lat quick. Lat quick on that build, it did exist back then, so it was a 70 plus the 5, it would have been a 75. I added an additional 5 because there's too many 6'9s running around right now, like guards running around. I didn't want to cheat though and go to an 86, so I just made it an 80. Interior defense, the way I came up with that is I just paired it with the block. The block was in the 80, so I did interior like an 80 as well. The block was an 84 back then, plus 5 is an 89. I went with 88 for that sweet spot for that chase down artist. It was an 86 steal on that build, so I went 85. That's a sweet spot for a silver glove too. Now rebounding was weird because back then they had categories. So you had jump shooting, inside scoring, athlete, rebounding, defense. If you upgrade any one of those categories, that's gonna give you a different attribute boost. He didn't upgrade his rebounding at all, so it was a 40 and 40. I didn't want to go, bro, you get horsed in 2K23 if you had a 40 and a 40. He could get boards back in the day in my career and in the park with a 40 and 40. So I needed to update it to represent how he was getting boards, but I didn't want to go crazy and go like an 85 or a 93, so 70 and 70 to make the match made sense. Physicals, I went speed and acceleration. He had a 70 plus 5, that's a 75, so I hit them spot on. Strength was way too high, it was like at an 84, so there was no sense in me really going that high for that build. 75 in today's game makes more sense, plus you get access to bully as well. Vert I did for the contact dunks, 95 stam, and you can see that base 18, 21, 20, and 23. This is as balanced of a small forward as you can really get. This build can pretty much do everything except post score. Now, finishing, you get slashing, shot creating, playmaking, and rim too as well. His game was more so like a spot up shooter plus like a slasher slash dunker, so I went with slashing. Don't have any sharp takes, so I can't go spot up, so that's the way I went with it, and that is going to make a 3-level score, which in today's game, that's a balanced build, right? So that's a balanced small forward, shades of Lamar Odom, that's a true point forward, can do everything player like Jason Tatum, and still repping that defensive side with OG Anunoby. Hopefully I nailed this for y'all, bro. Comment down below if y'all feel like I got this right and y'all now get that 2K16 vibe of Killa Cam Baker. Also, if you have a different like content creator, or if you have a different build from a different era y'all would like for me to build and showcase to y'all, let me know in the comments down below. Aside from that, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well so you can know when we post, and as always, respect the OGs. Peace.